You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast. It has been a busy day in Podcast HQ over here. All sorts of things to talk about, but we are here today to slightly belatedly, admittedly, but I don't know if anyone noticed, but there has been some Test cricket on the screens for the last few weeks. But we are here to discuss the comings and goings of the IPL auction, the mini auction that got wrapped up a week ago? I think it was a week ago today. And there are obviously some big moves, some big names to talk about, some big surprises as well. We will get into all of that. I am Maxwell Brown, and I am joined today by Ross Legg. Ross, how are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, mate. Very good. Loving all of the drama coming out of England's Noosa holiday and the stag do that they've been on. And yes, it's an interesting set of fallout, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. But the IPL is the biggest ticket in town and on the domestic circuit across the world. And as you said, Max, there's been some big moves.
I have. One of the big moves today is Jack driving from Wales back to London. He is somewhere between Reading Services and his home in South London as we speak, I think. So unfortunately not able to join us to review all the comings and goings. I said that twice. It's not even accurate, is it? Because it's just comings, I suppose. That's how auctions work.
Who is coming at the IPL? Max Brown investigates.
Channel 5 dispatches. Right. Shall we just get on with it? Let's get into it. There's a lot to do, a lot to talk about, and we're all busy people. So let's get going. Let's start, shall we? We'll do. Yeah. Here's how we'll do it to set the scene before we jump in. Probably similar to what we did with the previews. We'll just jump through team by team, have a quick couple of minute review, see what they did, see what their moves were, see how they stack up, and what we think of their decision making on auction day, and whether they're all insane and should all be sacked, or whether they're all geniuses and they're going to win the IPL for 10 years in a row. They're the two possible outcomes. So yeah, let's get going. Top of the list on this current ESPN Cricket Info article that I'm looking at, and obviously I think it's the team we did first when we did the previews anyway, so why not? Let's start with the Chennai Super Kings. So CSK, they went in and we were talking about what they needed, probably an all-rounder. They needed to fill in the Jadeja Curran hole that they made for themselves to bring in Sanju Samson. And we've ruminated about whether they might go in big for Cam Green. They did try to get Cam Green, but they were quite heavily gazumped by the team with more money. So they've gone for Plan B, Ross. And Plan B, I did not see coming. I don't know.
It's Plan Babies, isn't it? That's what
Plan Babies. It's very un-CSK as well, isn't it? Because what they've done is they have spent 14.2 crore each on Prashant Veer, the all-rounder, and Kartik Sharma, the wicketkeeper batter, who have between them, Ross, played 21 T20s. And that is an absolutely staggering amount of money from their purse that they have put out on players that they potentially did need. I think, another wicketkeeper to back up Samson, and I suppose you could say Dhoni, but let's be serious. Probably reasonable. And, we said they needed an all-rounder, and Prashant Veer is that all-rounder. Looks like potentially the quote-unquote Jadeja replacement. Left arm spinner, all-rounder, filling in that gap. So that's CSK, Ross. What do you make of them spending over 28 crore, over 2.5 million on a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old?
It is a massive surprise, if I'm perfectly honest. So this is because the people at the table still look like the old men at the table that have been there since the dawn of the IPL, right, Max? So I think this bit was a very big surprise that CSK are going with such a new approach. But it does come to a point in a franchise kind of history, especially around the cycles that are in the IPL, where they will have to do something a bit different. Like Mahendra Singh Dhoni has already been playing for longer than he should be playing, right? They're eking out every single bit of that asset. And when it comes to setting up the team for the future, they need to do something a little bit different. So it's a natural part of the cycle, hopefully, and they're not just kind of going, oh, do you know what? We need this kind of sticking plaster, this sticking plaster. If I'm a Chennai Super Kings fan, they've given me something to be excited about, and bringing in some fresh talent, especially at the younger, gets them, oh yeah, they bring through talent. They're going to do this kind of stuff. It's going to be a little bit better than how people are going to react. No offense to Akil Hussain and Matt Henry, they're not going to be too excited by those. Obviously, Akil Hussain plays for I think he plays for Joburg, plays for the other Kings side, the Caribbean, and you're sitting there going, Matt Henry, he's a dependable bowler, but you're not getting excited. Like if you're bringing Matt Henry home to meet your parents, like it's like solid guy, absolutely fine. There's no risk involved there. You're very middle of the road. So CSK fans are probably in decent hands right now.
I mean, if you're a dad, you're probably happy with like quite safe hands, middle of the road, aren't you? If you're being introduced to the new man on the block, so maybe not so bad. Yeah, the backup options are interesting as well. They also got Raul Chahar up on the cheap, reasonably. So that's not too bad bit of business. But yeah, I mean it looks like the two young guns are probably. I mean, they'll probably play, and that is exciting. It's like you say, it's very un-CSK. It is exciting as a CSK fan to see them move away from the usual. I think they fit well in what they're trying to do in terms of what they need from the gaps they were trying to fill. The only thing for me is that it's such a huge punt, like in terms of the purse, right? To drop that much money on guys who like highly rated could be amazing, but they're sort of paying now what they would have to pay at a mega auction in a few years if it turned out they are really good. Which is pretty bold, because if it goes wrong, but
you can't take the money with you. And I think some of the options that were available, again, like you said, they might win them the IPL next year, or they get them to the playoffs next year. But the longevity pick is not quite there. They have to be building for the future. They've also done the classic CSK thing, Max. They've picked up a couple of people who are quite dependable. I think actually people will probably be a little bit surprised, but I think Sarfraz Khan is a nice pickup. I think that helps kind of that top order. Matt Short is kind of, he's got a lot of experience in T20 cricket and can bowl a little bit as well. And overall, I think that the team is going to be competitive. Like every single CSK team, it is not exciting to look at on paper. Like nobody's sitting there.
Pork and...
No, no one's putting that up on a poster and be like, bloody hell, so what a sexy squad that is. But if I'm a CSK fan, we've got some good experience. There's some youngsters coming through in that lineup. They're going to be surrounded by people who will hopefully develop their skills across the next season. And so, like always, CSK will probably be competitive on the field.
Nice. So you rate the CSK? Good work from them?
Like 6 out of 10. I think literally because of the difficulty, I suppose, in the IPL auction. Like we'll come on to some of the other sides who panicked and ended up spending 14 crore on a random English bloke. But there is a bit here where CSK have gone, we could gamble it all on an overseas player. Actually, the overseas bit where you've spent more on kind of the final four of your overseas doesn't give you the flexibility that you need. And I think they've done the right thing.
All right. Good. Let's move on then. Next on the list is RCB, the holders of the IPL.
Surprise holders. The surprise holders. Let's be
holders.
They did almost like a Leicester, didn't they, last year?
Well, let's see if they get relegated this year. No, I mean, so they didn't have a whole lot to do, right? They didn't have a huge amount of money to play with, and they had a pretty settled side. But the big move they made at the auction, well, a couple. The biggest was Venki Iyer. They went in big for him last time out, and this time they've got their man for substantially less than he cost last year. So that's a good effort. And they splashed a bit as well on Mangesh Yadav, another left arm all rounder who has played 2 T20s, so even less well known than CSK's options. So yeah, I think quite a big theme developing, and that we saw in this auction of people going in fairly hard on the young guns, which I think that makes sense based on what you were saying just then on CSK. Like when you look at the other options that were available, why not? I mean, yeah, I know CSK pumped loads of money into those two, and RCB have pumped substantially less into Mangesh, but it's like you might as well take a punt, especially if you've got a side that you think is broadly settled, like RCB have done. But Venki Iyer, 7 crore, straight into the lineup to replace Padikal. Do you think, Ross?
Potentially, I think that they had, as you said, a relatively settled 11. People always seem to forget about the impact sub as well when looking through these teams. And actually, it gives them that flexibility. Like having Venki Iyer is not only a domestic kind of batter, but also he can bowl a little bit. So I do think it gives them a little bit of that flexibility that they probably missed a little bit last season. I also think that the pickup of Jordan Cox at base price is a very, very nice one too.
Yeah.
Having Phil Salt, Jitter Sharma and Jordan Cox, whilst they are all kind of good wicket keepers, there is a lot of explosiveness there. And that's exactly what is required, especially when you're partnering that with Tim David and Romario Shepherd. There's some teams, looking at you, Gujarat Titans, whose middle order is not going to be as strong as that. And so I think they've done a good job there. And one of the biggest issues they had to cover off was a backup for Josh Hazlewood. And they've been able to do that at kind of well within their budget. So I think that, they've done a pretty decent job here, RCB, and they are one to be taken a little bit more seriously. So they do like to pick up kind of almost like it's not quite Mumbai Galacticos, if you know, but RCB have a penchant, I suppose, for picking up people who are flavour of the month. And Jacob Duffy
is that man.
Flavour of the month, right? So, good luck to him. That's all I say.
Yeah, he's had a good year, hasn't he, old Jacob Duffy? So well, so yeah, I mean, we're pretty happy with what RCB have done from their point of view. What are you thinking? Maybe like I don't know. It's hard. Like to go with the really boring 7 out of 10 because they didn't mess it up.
Well, if you think about it, I think some of the other teams missed a real trick here. So I genuinely believe that Venki Iyer should have gone for probably nearly double of what it is. Yes, he's not been the best performing, but when's that ever stopped the IPL auction from coming into it? But picking Venki Iyer up for 7 crore is potentially one of the best businesses going, because it does that flexibility. Him coming in at 3 gives them a little bit more ballast within that lineup and a little bit more resilience. So I think that's a good thing. So I'm going to go for this is a 7 or 8 out of 10, probably. Let's go. Let's be bold. It's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, Jordan Cox. They can have an extra point for Jordan Cox at base price. I think that could be good, especially if he won't play, but if Phil Salt gets injured, maybe he will. Right. Good.
Wait, Max, just on that point there, we put a lot of focus, I suppose, on, and it's just come up in the chat as well, SA30 saying, no way is Duffy or Hazlewood staying fit throughout the IPL. We put a lot of credence into kind of injuries, etc., because we're England fans, so we're used to pace bowlers being injured all of the time. But if you look at that lineup, you've got Josh Hazlewood, injury prone, currently injured. Bhuvi Kumar, has stopped playing a lot of cricket because he was injured, and now he's kind of come back and he's looking a little bit fitter, etc. But again, no guarantee there. Yash Dayal, big question marks over that as a mental injury, I think is probably one you could put it as.
As a human being.
Exactly. So there are question marks over it, but I think from what they were doing there, the budget they had available to them, and the slots they had available, I think they've done a pretty decent job. So I'll go to 8 out of 10.
I think we had the same conversation when we were doing the team previews at the start of the IPL last year. We were looking at RCB and saying they're a good first 11, but they've got guys who could well get injured in Bhuvi and Josh Hazlewood, and that's going to cause them problems. And they stayed fit for inexplicably stayed fit for the whole tournament. So yeah, we will see how it plays out. All right, next up, third one, Ross, and it's another big one. It's the Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Last year's major disappointments.
Last year's, absolute poo boys. Basically, they were a disgrace. We thought they were going to be great. We thought they'd taken their unbelievable batting prowess and were going to kick on to the next level, and they completely failed to do that. So this year, what we've got is another in a long line of masters of disappointment and threatening to do amazing things and ultimately not. It's Liam Livingston. He's off to the boys in orange, 13 crore. So that is over half of a Cam Green, would you believe?
And it was on the second. It was on the second merry-go-round.
On the second pass as well. Yeah,
So
he didn't go first time round, did he?
They could have got themselves into. Like, you never know how these things are going to play out. But obviously, the later things go, and the people have got person. And there were some weird auction tactics anyway from some of the teams. I think SRH ended up overpaying here, but at the same time, overpaying in a mini auction is par for the course. Is the way I see it. I actually think SRH have done actually not a bad job. If you read a lot of the reviews online, a lot of them are panning, saying, "Oh, they needed to get bowlers. They've not got bowlers." Well, actually, the uncapped bowlers they have picked up. They've actually got quite a decent domestic contingent of pace bowlers, not including the masterful Shivam Mavi, who I can't believe he keeps getting picked up. It is insane.
Yeah. Right, at base price, take a punt because they.
Exactly.
I mean, that is one thing they needed, right? A pace bowler, a domestic pace bowler. Shivam Mavi is a domestic pace bowler. I thought they might go in for Akashdeep, but surprising that didn't come to pass. And they've gone for Shivam Mavi and then a bunch of guys who cost 0.3 crore.
Yeah, and again, look, you have no idea how some of those guys are going to pay out, but it all starts somewhere. And so SRH have taken a bit of a gamble. It's really difficult for them to fit in overseas players because you've got Travis Head, who is one of the first names on the team sheet. Probably first name on the team sheet is actually Pat Cummins because he's captain and he's Pat Cummins. And then you've got Heinrich Klaassen, who's also arguably first on the team sheet because it's Heinrich Klaassen. So it's a real difficult one. You've already got 3 banker slots in there. And so that fourth one is typically going to be taken up. Okay, well, what do we need? And in this regard, Liam Livingston kind of does a little bit of both, right? He's a finisher that they kind of needed in that middle order. He obviously bowls a couple of overs of serviceable spin. I mean, you shouldn't be relying on Liam Livingston to bowl you all 4 overs, but it is an option. And then you've got kind of some of the bowlers, kind of Eshan Malinga as well, who they started to use towards the end of the IPL last time. And so you start to be like, okay, well, who drops out? And so that's the balancing act they've got. So I think trying to figure out who out of that domestic bowling contingent is going to be there, it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, any of them could pop, couldn't they? Aniket Verma came in last year. He was 30 lakh and smashed it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it's a lot. It's a lot of money on Liam Livingston. I don't think they've done what they need to do in this auction. So I'm not too hot on Sunrisers.
Okay, I think they're trying to put a bit of faith as well into kind of is it Zishan Ansari. So I think there's that. Any team that's going to have to play Unadkat for the whole way through is you're asking questions there. But they're kind of like the Tottenham team under Ozzy Ardiles, who will score 1 more than you. They are very much focusing on how good their batting is. I'll be interested to see how Crane's Feletra plays as well. So the spin bowler. But we'll see. So, Max, I don't think it's as bad as people were saying it is. I still think this team is pretty strong. But it's certainly not a 2 or 3 out of 10. I think they're probably 5 out of 10. Very middle of the road performance from SRH.
Yeah, I can go along with that. I can stretch to a 5. That's fine.
Oh, you bore. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I completely agree with everything you have to say. Okay, 3 down. Next up. Quick one. We can get through this one next. I think we can get through the next 2 quite quickly because they didn't have very much money to spend. We've got the Mumbai Indians who basically had their full team sorted. They did some deals before the auction got underway. So Shifame Rutherford came in a trade there. And that left them with not very much to spend. And what they spent it on was mainly Quinton de Kock at base price. And I don't hate it. He's been there before, hasn't he? He's
looks good in blue and gold.
Yeah, so plenty of pedigree from a sartorial point of view. Basically, is he just going to be it'll be him and Ryan Rickleton fighting it out for opening the batting and the gloves, I suppose.
Yeah, and I don't think that's not a bad problem to have. I don't think this the Mumbai Indians team, or on paper, is probably the strongest in the competition. They talked about how they were bringing Mumbai back to Mumbai. And so they were very much focused on people who had either played for Mumbai before or are from Mumbai And that was kind of their bit, right? So they wanted to go back to their roots.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that works for the Mumbai Indian Oval original Super Uninvincibles team that they take over next year.
So, but this is if they could, like, it was almost impossible for Mumbai Indians to cock up. Like it was almost impossible. And I think them picking up someone like Quinton de Kock, who's got so much experience in one of the most difficult places of the batting lineup, and also a very trusted wicketkeeper, I think really, really good business, right? So,
and he's having a little resurgence, isn't he, as well, with the bat? He had a bit of a blip that sort of led to him. Was he retired from ODIs? Or
he's come back now,
for a little bit. He's back now and looking a lot better. So I think it's a shrewd pickup. Apparently, Tame says Ambani said that Quinton is his first choice. So
well, there you go.
There you go. So yeah, fine. Ambani did fine. They didn't stuff it up. Well done them.
Yeah, this is like what's fine? 6.5.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could have done any better. So that could potentially suggest a 10 out of 10 max, because that is the best possible outcome they could have got. But I'm not sure that's quite what we're trying to say here, is it? We're just kind of saying you couldn't cock it up, so you're not going to get points for not doing that. So
it's like in diving, and they've got the maximum score, but they've gone for the easiest dive you can possibly do. They've just gone for a cannon bomb into the pool. They nailed it. So well done. But you don't get much more. You can't get any more than 6.5. That is the limit.
They did look pretty bored at the table, because they were just like I think they only bid for 10 players in the entire thing. So
you would be bored. It's like going out in a game of poker in the first round and just
it's just like put your paddle down. Maybe some hand slapping going on at the table. But
KKR on the other hand went for the triple front flip twist pike, which carries a maximum score of 12 out of 10, and we'll see how far they got. But before we get there, we're on to another team, and we'll take a little break after this one to give everyone a few seconds to decompress after rattling through the first 5. Gujarat Titans are next. They, much like Mumbai, didn't have a huge amount to do, but I think a bit more that they were looking to bring into the side, and they made 5 purchases. The most expensive of those was Jason Holder for 7 crore. Jason Holder is back, the all-rounder who
2-meter Peter
does a little bit of everything, but I don't know if he does it that well. And the other one that they picked up is Tom Banton, who's been I think he's a little flavour of the monthly again in English circles after the new kid looking like he was going to take the world by storm. Didn't do very much, and then I think he's got a bit of ability back. Firstly with Somerset, and now looking like a top player again back in the England frame in the T20 side. So I don't think that's a bad one either. I think when we did talk to Gujarat Titans, I was talking about the fact that they might want to pick up someone who's got a bit of pop in the middle order, and you can keep wicket, and that's what they did. I thought they were going to go for Jordan Cox. They went for Tom Banton, but fair enough. But does that mean that Glenn Phillips now still won't play? That's the question.
Well, who knows? He can certainly keep wicket and also twats it. I think there's so much faith being put in someone like Shahrukh Khan. It is unbelievable the amount of faith that has been put in that person, who has not really done much to deserve it. I also think there's a problem where Rahul Tewatia only plays in the IPL. I don't think he really plays Indian domestic cricket.
I can't remember. I'm not sure when he last played cricket. It's last year, isn't it?
And so he doesn't really do anything for Gujarat Titans as well, right? The Gujarat Titans are so top heavy that they kind of need someone to come in and play a couple of deliveries for it. So it was a little bit of a surprise that they didn't go a little bit more. Like Jason Holder, he can hit a ball, don't get me wrong, but is he really the person you want coming in at number 6, number 7 when you need all of those runs? Possibly not. But they've still got a good overseas contingent, right? Joss Butler, arguably the best batter in the world. You've got Kagiso Rabada, who's kind of both amazing and awful at the same time in T20 cricket. He can go all around the ground, or he can take 5 wickets. It's very exciting. Rashid Khan is just the ever present. But then you've got all of it backed up by Sai Sudarshan and Shubman Gill at the top of the order. So that middle Still not sorted, I don't think, Max, from my opinion. And the overseas doesn't give you the flexibility to resolve that problem, would be my gut feel at this right now. So I'd say actually they had one of the, again, very middling. Like, I like Tom Banton, I like Luke Wood.
But are they going to play?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that it's probably about a 4 out of 10 for Gujarat for me.
Yeah. I mean, they're a side that are similar to SRH in terms of you look at the overseas and you're like, well, Josh Butler's playing, Rashid Khan's playing, Rabada's playing, and then one more, probably. I mean, they've spent enough money on him for it to be Jason Holder. So, like, what doesn't give you, much more that you can do with, you've got Tom Banton, you've got Glenn Phillips and Luke Wood, and they'll all be sitting there probably not doing very much. I'm not sure they care about the middle order. I think their plan is just to hope that Butler, Gill, and Sisa Darson are the best players in the world again.
Not a bad plan. They are pretty good at cricket. So, and this is saying, like, I actually like the Gujarat Titans squad. I actually thought they were going to win last year's IPL. I actually think they're a very well put together team. They play kind of T20 cricket in the way in which maximises the output of their players. I just genuinely think they've probably put faith in one or two people who I wouldn't have put faith in, but a bit of loyalty goes a long way. All
right. So what do you think for Gujarat Titans out of 10? What are we saying?
I think it's 4.5 or 5 for me. It's very, like, I'm like a bit meh about it.
Yeah.
But Jason Holder quite possibly over the hill as well for kind of that, but he's still talented. So yeah. I'm going to 4.5. I reckon the worst that we've touched upon so far, but close to CSK.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking 4. I think Jason Holder it's a lot to just to spend on someone who I just don't think he's going to improve them that much. He did get to a point where he was maybe quite effective at the death bowling at Yorkers and things like that, especially with his height. But I don't think he offers a huge amount with the bat down the order, which is, like you were saying, kind of what Gujarat may well need. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that works. But we will take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will be kicking off with the big one, Ross, the big one that we've all been waiting for. So stick around for that.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast, where we are halfway through reviewing the mini auction. We're going team by team. We're looking at who they've got, how they've done, and we have got to where we need to get to, Ross, because it is time to talk about the team that had the most money and spent the most money on one man. And that man was Cameron Green, and he set an overseas record of 25.2 crore in under the paddle. Obviously, he will only be getting 18 of that because of rules that exist. But he's gone. 2 KKR for that amount of money. It's a huge amount of money. So he is in there to replace, obviously, Andre Russell, who's now the power coach. Can Andre Russell bring out the power of Cameron Green, I suppose? Question one. Worth the money.
I think there's a space for more like specific coaches, Max. What I wanted to, I was on BBC 5 Live this morning, as you well know. They were talking about the English drinking culture that we'll kind of get onto and all the stag do happening in Noosa.
You think we need drinking coaches?
Well, Paul Collingwood's gone, right? So I think he was drink coach in chief, right? So I like the fact that KKR have got Dre Russ as a power coach. I'm not sure he's a like for like replacement for Dre Russ. Dre Russ is like, you can't replace someone like him. Like he's I don't think you'll ever see someone that impactful again in the IPL in terms of what he's brought to the table. Like an unbelievably explosive batsman, could bowl, has pulled KKR out of some holes you never thought possible, right? And has wowed everybody. So I still think Cameron Green is a good player. He's got a decent IPL record. He is massive, so that counts for something. He bowls and he bats, and yeah, there was no surprise that he was the most expensive player in this auction. But I see him more as kind of a 3 or 4 rather than him coming in as a finisher at the end. And so
he's
KR,
opened a bit as well.
yeah, I reckon top 4 potentially, and you're just sitting there going, well, that isn't what Dre Russ did. So they are not like for like. But I think they've done a pretty good job here, Max. Actually, looking at the team, and a little bit of a Kiwi flavour, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, because obviously it's not just Cameron Green that they picked up. They had plenty of other money to throw around, and Finn Allen and Tim Cypher have both ended up at KKR. So they will be opening up, I suppose. Bearing in mind they got rid of all of their opening batters. Oh, Narayan, yeah. But I think Finn Allen he's one of those guys that Dan Weston in particular very highly rates, and I think he has a really
bench warmer.
Yeah, perennial bench warmer, but he's got a huge ceiling. He's one of those guys that when he pops, he can really score heavily. I'm thinking sort of like Phil Salt kind of vibes. So I think that's a decent pickup. I like that at base price. Tim Seifert, is still getting gigs, which
he hit some runs the other day, right? So he hit runs the other day, but it was perfect timing for him hitting those runs. But
yeah,
he's been around the IPL for quite a while. Has he done anything? No, not really. No.
But yeah, fair play to him. So yeah, there's those two. So yeah, I think the opening spot kind of sorted to replace what was previously Gurbaz, wasn't it? But they've also spent big cash on some bowling. Mahesh Patirana, 18 crore, and Mustafizur, 9.2 crore, which I was very interested by as well. So what do you make of those two? Because they're, I expect, going to be vying for one spot. So that's a lot of money to pump into one spot. But I suppose you do have there a pretty good backup option if it's not exactly like for like in terms of the way Mustafizur and Patirana's overs will be spread over an innings. I think Patirana much more 10 overs onwards, bowl 4. Mustafizur probably more of a 2 and 2. I think, but yeah, talk to me about those. I like it.
Yeah, I'll be surprised to see them play lots and lots together. I think it was probably taken. We need a good opening bowler, or we need a good death bowler, and I think they can kind of do both, as you're saying. I think both haven't got the best track records with injury that we were talking about earlier on the show. Patirana in particular has struggled on that front, and you can see it, right? With the way in which his body contorts to bowl, it's not a surprise that things go wrong on that front. But he has performed in the IPL reasonably well. I don't think he's got an absolutely outstanding record, but he has got one of the highest strike rates in the competition. And so when it comes to taking wickets, Patirana is a decent option. What I am interested about, Max, is how are they going to fit in someone like Rachin Ravindra, because he was a standout of the 2003 World Cup. The World Cup's come so thick and fast. But
2003.
I actually thought he'd
been around a long time.
So, but again, they've got decent backups in that place, and I also think that Akash Deep was an unbelievably cheap acquisition for them. So many of the other teams needed a proven pace bowler, especially a proven Indian domestic bowler. And whilst you might not have an absolutely outstanding T20 record, he is pretty bloody good. So I was a bit surprised at that. And Rahul Tripathi, Max, the man who will probably end up playing for every single IPL franchise before his career ends, is back to KKR.
The James Milner of the IPL. Yeah, I mean, so overall, Ross, I think they gave themselves a lot to do, and with basically decimating their entire team at a mini auction. So that was pretty bold. I think what they've ended up with it's pretty serviceable, right? It's pretty good. I still think there's a few issues in the middle order potentially. A lot of reliance, and also a fair amount of reliance on Rahane still. Doing a semi-decent job, which may or may not play out. But I think, I don't mind it overall. I think also
it gives Rinku.
If you've got Narayan and Chakravarti in your side, then you're always gonna be there or thereabouts.
It does give Cameron Green the opportunity, though, Max, to play cricket. Like we saw, his T20 World Cup chances were diminished because when they won the IPL, he wasn't batting. So it was almost a wasted slot because they were doing so well. Rinku Singh has like shown how talented he is. I think this is the stage where they go, right, actually, Rinku, you are going to be our number 5 or our number 6, and he is going to get much more game time. And I think that is the faith that they are putting into that, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, good. Excellent. I think on KKR we're pretty happy then. Like for Cameron Green, I think it all depends. They bought the idea of Cameron Green. It just depends on whether the idea of Cameron Green is what Cameron Green actually is. So what are we saying?
He works in finance. Let's go.
KKR, what do you reckon? Are you hot on it? Are you going 8s or
considering where they were and considering where they are now? I think it's a pretty decent transformation. I think they've actually done reasonably well at this auction. They were the big stack bully, so to speak, and they used it to their advantage. So I'm going to give this an 8. I think they've actually done it. I think KKR fans can actually be pretty excited about the season up ahead. So yeah, bring on the Knight Riders in purple and gold.
Nice. And Jack's made it. Hello, Jack.
Hey, here he is.
Yeah, seamlessly transitioning in for, I assume, Rajasthan Royals.
Well done. Correct.
See, look, after 640 episodes, we can do this sort of maneuver, and the rest of the podcast, it will go off without a hitch. It's not so easy. People thinking about starting a podcast, it's not so easy to drive 5 hours and jump straight in for Rajasthan Royals.
Well,
I'm here. I've seen the Ben Duckett video, and I have to come here to talk about that. That's really why. I've got theories and ideas and all sorts. Anyway, carry on, Rajasthan Royals.
We're 6 down. We'll rattle through the last 4 because we've done all the big stuff, and we do have to get to Ben Duckett, which maybe we can take a little diversion when we get into Delhi to do that. But first things first, Rajasthan Royals, your boys, Ross. Tell me about your beautiful pink boys.
My beautiful pink boys have actually salvaged what was a disastrous mega auction, right? With this mini auction and the trades that they've done, they've obviously got Jadeja, got Sam Curran, and I kind of went into the preview show saying they need a spinner, and ideally they have a domestic spinner, and it would be Ravi Bishnoi. And by Joe, they've bloody done it, and for 7 crore, I couldn't believe what was happening. So many of the other franchises could have done with Ravi Bishnoi, and they had bigger purses. I reckon that they cannot believe what they've gotten away with on that front. So I think, yeah, very, very good pickup. They've obviously picked up 2 other more junior spinners in Raj Punja and Patur, but I'm bullish, Max. All of a sudden, I was head in hands, and being a Rajasthan Royals fan, a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and an England cricket fan was a disastrous triumvirate of failure and disappointment. This Rajasthan Royals team looks to be in a much, much better position. And I forgot to mention as well, Donovan Ferreira kind of coming across from Delhi, which I also think is a nice, tidy addition too. So, overall, I think they've done a really good job here. They've got a bit of backup for Jofra Archer in Adam Milne. Could have done with probably a little bit more on that front. But, we bought Kuldeep Sen back, so that's a good thing to do. And so I'm bullish, Max. So I'm genuinely turning around and thinking this is an 8 or 9 out of 10 auction compared to what I saw at the mega auction.
8 or 9, that's huge from Ross. Yeah, I mean, they had one job, and it was get Ravi Bishnoi, and they did it. So good, definitely points for that. And Adam Milne,
they
that's not bad.
The price for Cameron Green as well, didn't they? They pumped the price up massively for Cameron Green. They were in it. They would have blown all their budget just on Cam Green. They bid it up to 14 crore, and then it was time for the proper boys to play.
They were playing the men in the room rather than the game. Good. That's good auction tactics if that is indeed what they were actually doing. Well, what about you, Jack? Where do you stand on Rajasthan?
I think it's a better team than they had last year, which is, I guess, what you want out of the mini auction process, isn't it? It doesn't always happen. Like, a lot of teams do go backwards or stay the same. They have, I think, obviously improved. Have they improved enough where I'm now thinking like playoff contenders, or definitely going to be battling near the top of the table? Probably not. I think there's still. I still think they're quite dependent on the 2 guys at the top of the order, Jaiswal to get bulk runs and Suryavanshi to be as good as he looked last year. If that happens, then I'd be happy to change my opinion on that. And I think they've got some infrastructure around those two that could move the team forward. I'd still say, I mean, like if I'm being really, really harsh on them, that I don't think their bowling's amazing, and there's still a question mark around Jofra Archer and how fit and stuff. You know, how fit and able he'll be after a T20 World Cup and presumably 2 more Test matches in the Ashes. Is Jadeja, Sam Curran, Bishnoi, Deshpande, Sandeep Sharma, are any of them really, really top bowlers? All of them are sort of fine. They haven't really got a massive weak link there, I'd say. But I also wouldn't say that, there's sort of a reason Bishnoi got released, right? It's because he's not top tier. He's sort of
My immediate thought, Jack, when you said that about what type of bowler, they all dream of bowling the 7th over. That's what.
It is a little bit like that. Look, if so what I think what I'd say, Jaiswal and Vaibhav, if they go hard, and if Archer plays and can open the bowling for them, then they are a really good team. If that doesn't happen, then I'm not sure the supporting cast have got enough to push them right up to the top of the table.
3-man team. That's what I'm hearing, but
not quite a 3-man team. They're not that bad. But they're not.
Look, they've got a couple of people on the way down. Which, there's no doubt about that. Jadeja very much on the way down. Hetmeyer on the way down. Sam Curran probably on the way down. But they've got a couple of people on the way up. So look, I'm going to be bullish on that front. But Jack, we need a rating from you. I've gone 8.5 out of 10 for this auction for Rajasthan.
I'd give them a good auction rating, an 8.
Yeah. I like it. I like what they ended up with. Nice. Okay, before we move on to the next team, which will be the Punjab Kings, we have a super chat from missed it, from Andy 1999. Are Brevis and Matre legit? What's the upside? So all the way back to CSK. I mean, Devont Brevis obviously came in halfway through the IPL last year and looked pretty decent. And Ayush Matre played towards the end and also looked good. Do we think they are, I suppose, similar to Rajasthan, relying on some guys who may or may not do the business? Are they reliable for CSK, or is it a bit? Was that flash in the pan stuff at the end of the season when it didn't matter?
Matre got a load of runs, didn't he, in the SMAT? Like he did really, really well in that. So it looks like he's a fairly reasonable person to have a bet on if you're constructing an IPL team. Was he 18? I haven't been back through all the stats, and I would say this to anyone when they're talking about players who got loads of runs in the SMAT. You need to go and look at who they were playing, because some of those teams are village level cricketers. They're so bad, and it can give you a warped view of how good they are. There was the classic case in point is the wicketkeeper who got the fastest ever double ton in List A cricket. Whose name's Jagadeesan, I think was his name. That's what's coming into my head. Could be wrong. There was a guy who did it, but then you went and looked at the highlights, and it's like moonball bowlers and old men falling over and all sorts. And he got picked up for quite a lot of money. I want to say by KKR in the IPL auction on the back of that, and couldn't do it. Like he didn't have it in the locker. So go and check it. It's not bad on your resume to have 2 tons in professional cricket at age 18, though, in T20 professional cricket. Yeah. So I'm going to say fairly legit on Matre, and I would say definitely legit on Brevis.
All right. Thank you.
Let's move on to Punjab.
Let's move on. Again, not a huge amount for them to do. They kept the team together, but for me, this one smacks of jobs for the boys. Because we've got Ben Dwarshuis at 4.4 crore and Cooper Connolly at 3 crore, making up the big plays for Punjab at the auction. Obviously, a Ricky Ponting Australia factor creeping into there, I think. What do you reckon? Is it meaningless? Have they just thrown some cash to Australia? Up income tax.
This is 5 Australians they've got in their team. So Stoinis, Mitch Owen, Cooper Connolly, Ben Dwarshuis, Xavier Bartlett.
Yeah.
That is jobs for the boys, isn't it, Max? That is jobs for the boys. I'm also not sure, like in terms of, I thought Cooper Connolly was going to go there. It written all over it. I think I said that in the preview show. But Ben Dwarshuis, that is a surprise pickup for me. Jack, what do you think about Ben?
Who Ben Duckett?
Ben Cautious.
So I can't think of
Turn the
anyone.
light like you had a good idea about it.
No,
Anyway,
I don't mind him. I don't mind him. I'm not sure he's IPL standard. Like, but you've got to select 8 overseas, haven't you? And he'll turn up, and he'll probably be a functional net bowler. We all know that Ricky Ponting loves Australians, and there's a little bit of a job sort of boys element when it comes to Aussies and Punjab. Could they have found a better player from somewhere else in the world if they'd been a little bit more creative? Yes. Do they have a lot of information on him? Does the coaching staff know him? Does Ponting know him? Do they trust him to produce at least a minimum level if they need him? Probably also yes. And taking a punt on a random Afghan, it is sexy. We all like that kind of.
Already. They've got Amazon.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean, or a Sri Lankan. Like, it's interesting, and the upside is generally higher. We know when Ben Dwarshuis isn't going to come into the IPL and dominate it or surprise anyone, but the downside is that sometimes, often actually, those players are just nowhere near the level. So I kind of understand it.
Yeah.
Tanmay saying in the chat they should have gone for Venki Iyer. That would have been a fun pickup.
Yeah, I think they've probably been priced out probably by the time they got there. Yeah, I mean, it reminds me a bit of when MI picked up Berendorf and we found that really funny and laughing at it, and then he actually was really good. So yeah, maybe it'll work out for them, but it doesn't seem that exciting for me. Do we want to give them a rating? Oh, like anything? Can you go above a 5?
They picked up 4 players, like
3, 2, no rating.
Like absolutely fine, just like middle 5 out of 10. Just literally,
right.
They couldn't screw that up.
Move on.
They couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't even need to give a rating there. I don't think.
No.
Next.
Okay. Next, Delhi Capitals is next. We're nearly there. Second to last, I think. And yeah, some more interesting stuff on the Delhi side. So they had a bit of money to spend as well. And they have spent 8.4 crore on another surprising pickup, should we say? Orchid Nabi, 29-year-old bowler who has not played a great deal. He's 34 T20 games and at the age of 29, which is an interesting move for sure. For 8.4 crore, that's a lot of money. And then they spread the rest out quite nicely for base price overseas guys. You got Miller's in there, Ben Duckett's in there if he can shake off his hangover, Lungi Ngidi, Carl Jameson, all at 2 crore, Patam Nasanka at 4 crore, and Prithvi Shaw is back. He's back at Delhi for base price of 0.75 crore. So what do you make of the move for old Nabi? Not Mohammed Nabi.
Yeah, not Mohammed Nabi.
I mean, someone was going to pull the trigger on for quite a lot of money. I think that had been sort of signalled. There's a lot of buzz around him, and he took, to be fair, an absolute stack of poles in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. I don't mind it. Like, I think it's always domestic pacers are always worth a little bit of a pump.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably play. Sort of wish him the best. I think.
Can't be any worse than Mohit Sharma.
Yeah, you've got to temper your expectations a little bit. Like if he produces Akash Deep levels of output, it's a great buy. It's a fantastic piece of business, and that's probably near the top end of what you can expect.
Yeah.
Not a bad player to have about, basically.
No, and also surrounded by people who've got a little bit more experience as well, right? Ngidi's a really good bowler. Jameson's obviously been round kind of through the ringer and still a very good player. But I think Delhi have done a really good job here. Sometimes we go into question mark around, they're more interested in fucking over other people's IPL auctions rather than focusing on their own. Here, I think they've got some good backups in that team, a lot of experience. And if you're a Delhi fan, picking up David Miller at base price, I think you should be pretty happy with that.
Yeah. No, I think
underwhelmed.
I think because they didn't have a huge amount to spend, did they, Delhi? And they had a fair bit to do. And I quite like the sort of spread it around approach that they've gone with on the overseas. I think they won't get much more out of David Miller, but you know what you're getting.
It gives them flexibility. Right?
It's actually similar with Ngidi.
Yeah, but literally they can change their batting lineup and bowling lineup, and doesn't make that much of an impact of what they're trying to do. I think it's a nice place to be, and it'll give them good rotation throughout this tournament. So, yeah, I'm actually really quite bullish on this. I think this is a 7.5. I think
You're not such a fan, Jack, by the sounds of it.
I don't think the team's very good. I think there's quite a few quite one-dimensional players in that 11 that can do one thing quite well, and if the circumstances don't align for them to execute their one thing, then they're kind of baggage. What I would say is the fact they had Kuldeep and Mitchell Stark before, and their bowling's probably got a little bit better because of the people they picked up. They probably have improved a little bit, but I think on the batting side, I'm not whelmed. I'm not whelmed at all.
Are you underwhelmed?
I don't know if I go that.
Would you go that far?
I'm not.
No.
I'm certainly not overwhelmed.
I like the underwhelmed, overwhelmed.
The whelm scale. Yeah.
I'm closer
Levels
to
of
under
whelm.
than over.
Right. Yeah. Medium rare.
Yeah. Subwhelmed.
Subwhelmed. Right. Okay. So what does that translate to for you? A 5 or a 6?
I'll push it up to a 6.
A 6. All right. We'll have to take the average and go for 7 then, won't we? Is that? I can't remember what Ross said.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
He's a 9 or 10. 10 I think Ross said.
12 out of 10. Right, last one. I think it's the last one.
Let's do them in a really boring voice.
Yes. It's the last one. It's the team that we hate the most in the IPL. It's last and definitely least. It is the Lucknow Super Giants. And to be fair, actually, I think it's a nice one to end on because we've not been particularly horrible about anyone so far. So I think we can go 2-footed on this one because they've spent 8.6 crore on Josh Inglis, who's going to play 4 games next year. And I think that's really stupid.
Mad.
Josh Inglis must be laughing all the way to the bank. He's getting married. That's why in April.
Is it just an early payment on the
No,
marriage?
I was wondering whether this was
A long-term play?
No, a swizz by the owners, because I don't think you have to pay players if they're unavailable. And he said, I'm going to be unavailable for 10 of the games. Everyone knew that. So you don't have to pay him. That's what I think it is, yeah. So for 4 of the 14, so 8.6 divided by 14 times by 4, that's how much you have to pay him. And you can trouser the other 10. You might even... Yeah, I don't know. There's someone in the chat saying he's going to be available for the season, so maybe he's been given enough money that he'll actually turn up here. Even then, like it's a lot of money for a Josh Inglis, isn't it? Not bad.
Look at the batting line. They've already got Mitch Marsh, Markram, Puran. They don't have space for another overseas batter. Like they just don't have space. And Hasaranga coming into the lineup, it's interesting.
It is a really strange one.
So, but at least they picked up Henrik Nokia, so the most injury-prone bowler on the planet right now. So,
just as some backup for their other really fit, fast
Mayank Yadav and Henrik Nokia. There's a guaranteed 2 games out of them.
Yeah, and Mohsin Khan as well, also always injured. So they might not even be able to get a bowling lineup out again. And Arjun Tendulkar is going to take 29 wickets in the IPL and run away with the top wicket taker. Maybe that's the long-term plan.
What is scary, though, Max, is I actually think that this isn't actually the most horrendous Lucknow squad we've ever seen. I actually don't think it's absolutely awful. Which scares me reading that on.
If all their best players play, they could be really good fun, right? Like Pant, Puran, Shami, Mayank Yadav. There's Mitch Marsh after last year. Maybe you throw Norkia in there. You got Digvesh as well. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun,
but if they all play, and the likelihood of that feels slim, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's always good when you've got 3 wicket keepers. I like that when in a team. So all good. I reckon from my perspective, I think Hasaranga is a very nice pick. I'm not sure why he's not valued so much in the IPL. Like last year, he got picked up, I think, base price as well, or near enough base price, and it was a little bit disappointing for him. But
pretty close to top wicket taker when he was at RCB, wasn't he?
So yeah, just there must be something in the background that we are not privy to because he doesn't seem to be truly kind of valued, I guess.
Just people batting him at 5,
didn't he? Maybe that's it.
Maybe unreliable in his very colourful shoes, but yeah.
Right.
Overall, I think Lucknow, they've actually improved their team. I think so. I think it's a slight improvement, but it's I still don't like them. So 5 out of 10.
I'm going to give them a 3. I don't know if they have improved their team. I think they were probably lucky with some of the performances they had last year. I think they already had an injury-prone 11, certainly an injury-prone bowling outfit. Adding Mohammed Shami to that isn't doing themselves any favours. Some strange. Got rid of Nokia as well. I mean, it's some strange decisions. Strange decisions made by that.
But David Miller and Josh Inglis. No, you're talking me around here, Chad. But David Miller, I thought was fine, like perfectly serviceable player. And then they've spent 8.6 crore on Josh Inglis. Like that doesn't quite compute for me.
No, but there you go. So I'm going with Jack. I choose 3 out of 10.
Cool.
So that's it. That's done. That's all 10 out of the way. So what we're sticking with us for that. But we've got one more super chat to get to, Ross.
Oh, okay.
From Hash. Who is the best ever player bought by an IPL team? Is it Mahendra Singh Dhoni for CSK in 2008, Rohit Sharma in 2011, Warner in 2014, or any other? What do you reckon? Who's your favourite?
Krishnappa Gautam to CSK.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Big moves. I'm trying to think. I feel like Andre Russell. He's just a legend of the IPL.
I think you can make a convincing case to him. Like, probably if you wanted to talk about it in really, really serious, you wanted to get into some serious ball, you'd say Hardik Pandya or an Indian player that provides you domestic flexibility or something like that, wouldn't you? I mean, I think they got Hardik for quite a low price in the first year they had him. Well, that was good business. But I think Andre Russell, probably the best ever player in the IPL, I would say. And I don't think they had to pay him too much at any point in his career. You ever looked at it and were like, that's too much for the best player in the league. So I'd maybe say Dre. He played for 2 teams, didn't he? I'm saying Dre for KKR, where obviously he did most of his. Oh, Delhi had him for a little bit. That checks out, doesn't it? Had the greatest player ever.
Let him go.
Back to the pool you go.
Obviously his bowling tailed off probably towards the end, and he was injured at various points as well. But he was a pretty fine bowler back in the olden days, and his batting. I'm still not sure there's anyone who's better than Dre.
Yeah, we spoke about that earlier on the podcast. It's been a bit of a Dre loving, if I'm perfectly honest. So yeah, agreed. Well, should we get to the most important bit, Matt? And that's the drinking culture in the England team.
Yes, let's do that. Well, let's take a quick break so that we have a nice clean gap between IPL and England, and then we will come back and talk about the fact that England are a bunch of drunkards and should all be sacked for being miscreants. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back in a tick.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Cricket Podcast, where we have done IPL mini auction goodness. We've been through those teams, and now it's back to the Ashes because not a moment goes by without more news in that space. And today it's all about recriminations. We spoke about what might happen, and it's all come a lot sooner than we might have expected. Noosa, the topic of conversation once again. Maybe, Ross, you can take us through what's been going on, bearing in mind that you starred once again on national radio this morning on a half-an-hour phone-in, talking about the very subject.
I don't think I starred, I think it's fair to say.
I'd say you did, mate. You got my pun in there, so I'm proud of you.
There was an absolute lunatic called Peter on the phone in who, if you want to listen back to something else, that was pretty wild. But Max, ultimately, the guys, the England team went, not the guys, I don't know them personally.
The boys, the lads.
The chaps. The chaps went a little break to Noosa on their little Australian tour down under. And what it turns out is they've been on the lash. So the media has got hold of everything so far, like from the scooter incident where they weren't wearing helmets, to them posing for pictures on the beach, to now the drinking culture within this England team, and that's why we're losing the Ashes. And there's now come out in the last few hours a video of Ben Duckett, who's being secretly filmed because that's what people do these days. And he doesn't know which way's up and which way to get back to his hotel. Max, on the radio this morning, I kind of said that I actually think it's probably a little bit unfair on the England team. Like, they're not losing because they had a few beers in Noosa. Yes, Paul Farbrace was saying they've been a bit dopey, and I think that's probably fair. But England are losing because they've picked the wrong players to go and play against Australia, and Australia are ultimately just better than them at cricket. But it is funny to have something like this happen midway through the tour. And it's given people something to put their anger into. And a lot of the whataboutery for it is, well, perhaps if Harry Brook hadn't drunken so many beers 4 days ago, he would have taken those catches, and then the maths means that we would have won. I'm not sure it quite works that way, but Jack, you were very excited to talk about the Ben Duckett video. So
should Ben Duckett ever play for England ever again, Jack?
Honestly, I'm more excited by Rob Key personally heading the investigation. This is the Christmas blockbuster. This is the Christmas. No, but I'm thinking bigger than that. I'm thinking a UK alternative to Knives Out with Rob Key as Benoit Blanc, playing himself, skulking round the beach towns of Queensland, looking for video evidence of, intoxication. Basically, it's pretty funny. I mean, like, I presume you've both seen the video.
Yeah.
At this point of Duckett transitioning on from my fancies of Rob Key sleuthing. I do assume you've both seen the video. Like, he is
absolutely
one of us.
Blasted.
He's one of us. Like, anyone who plays recreational cricket in the UK will at one point or another have been or have seen a teammate in that state outside a regional town nightclub. And it's actually, it's one of those things that endeared him to me in a way that, like, basically he's gone his whole life trying to get it to the next first team. He's finally made it to the first team of all first teams, but it hasn't affected his off the field lifestyle whatsoever. He is still treating cricket like basically
a park game.
Do. Yeah,
big,
and look,
big brain Ben.
You can have your opinions on that one way or the other. Is it the ideal way to recuperate between test matches? Probably not. You can go on about elite level sport, but I'd ask you this: is cricket even elite level sport? I mean, there's 4 fucking nations that play it.
This came up on the radio. This came up. They were saying Harry Kane would prepare for a World Cup game like these guys are, and I'm just like, is this? Someone said that they should prepare more like Luke Littler. I was just like, Luke Littler?
I do. They should. Like, if you seriously want to win, like, you should definitely not go out and drink what looks at least 12 pints. It's at least 12 pints, isn't it?
Speaking from a lot of experience,
like, literally from the volume perspective, that means that Ben Duckett is 93% liquid at that point.
You shouldn't be doing that. It is from a sporting perspective an absolute fucking disgrace that that's how you're behaving. They're not even long tours as well. It's 6 fucking weeks. It's not. You only play.
I disagree. I think they're on.
You only play for 25 days.
I think
they aren't on holiday, though, are they?
On that specific bit, they are on holiday.
The trip is not a holiday.
Okay, so you were working at your organisation when you're specifically on a holiday, and you've had a few beers. Your company that you work for isn't turning around and be like, Jack, mate, you've got to sort it out. I saw the video of you in Berlin being quite drunk. Like, my
job isn't to hit a ball bowled at me at 90 miles an hour. My job isn't a physical job.
The next day, are they? Literally, Ben Duckett isn't going out and playing
anything the next day. He's not doing anything the day after that.
I bet you is. He's having a couple of beers the next day.
No, I don't. I also don't think. I don't think that the trip to Noosa is a holiday. Like what happens after the Ashes is your holiday. What happened after the end of the English summer, the 2 months you had there, that can be your holiday. Like the middle of the series, not even the middle. You haven't even made it to the middle yet. It's only 40% done. You're 2-0 down. And I'm not saying
4
here,
days of work or 5 days of work at that point.
I'm not saying here they should be flogging themselves in the nets. I know there's rumours that Stokes proposed a 12k run on one of the days, and none of the boys wanted to do it. If you don't want to do a 12k run in the middle of something that is definitely training, you're not getting any bonus fitness out of that. That's not how the human body works. If you don't think that's a good way of preparing, I totally understand that. You don't have to do that. I do think doing things which are like medically proven to be bad for your body, and doing it to a ridiculous extent. I'd say have up to 7 pints. You can have 7 pints, and I'm kind of all right with that. As long as you can walk home.
We've had the nutritionist. We've had the England nutritionist on, haven't we? Literally, she should set the limit. You could have 7 beers.
Yeah, he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where he is. People have
doesn't know how to get home.
When I first saw it, I thought it was some particularly entrepreneurial TikTokers who had found a mate who looked a bit like Ben Duckett, and chosen not to film his face, dressed him up, and taken him to like and based on the accents of the other people in the video, like a shopping mall in Blackburn, and like tried to bluff it. But someone has actually, I presume Rob Key, head of investigations, someone has actually gone around Street View of Noosa and found the specific arcade that Ben Duckett is beached outside, complete with Taco Bell, and pinpointed his exact location. It's like it's an amazing piece of open source intelligence, like that's been executed there. I personally am not offended. I just want to put that on the record. Do what you want to do. I think mainly it's pretty funny. It's clearly a ridiculous thing. It's clearly a ridiculous decision. A set of extremely ridiculous decisions have happened for Ben Duckett to be cornered outside outside a Taco Bell at 3 a.m. in Australia. But from a sporting perspective, make a comment on that. Like it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen England cricketer do.
Where's the rest of them?
It's so dumb.
You need to implement the IDLCC buddy system.
I know where Bethel is. Bethel is Bethel. There's a video of Bethel doing the YMCA with a bird in a nightclub.
Nice.
He looks fully compos mentis. I'm sure he went home. I'm sure he found out where he had to go.
21 years. It's a young man's game.
Yeah. I think it is. I think it's a completely ridiculous and extremely stupid thing for an England player to do mid-tour. I'm glad it happened. I think it's an amazing talking point. It will probably be what he's remembered for.
It's not going to be the 16 he's averaged this series, is it?
No, it won't be the 16 he's averaged. It probably one-ups the time.
Has Ollie Pope's place in the side been saved by Ben Duckett?
No, he'll definitely play, and he'll be sad. And like I'm sure, as Ross was pointing out, this didn't happen. Like he wasn't about to go out and open the batting. It probably happened on one night. It's unfortunate. Like if we take a step back, like it is really dumb that he has done this to himself and been caught doing this to himself. Like presumably they're in a 5-star resort. Just fucking hammer the hotel bar, mate. Have a party in your room. But like, yeah, it's. Yeah,
I don't know. People can't expect much from Ben Duckett. You've literally seen him in interviews. Like good at cricket.
He needs a chaperone at all times.
Not good at thinking. Yeah.
Maybe Harry Brooks should be his buddy. Leave those two out. Yeah.
I think that they put themselves in that scenario though, and then their coach coming out saying, "Oh, I want to stay on as a manager because it's great going around the world with the lads and hanging out." The dumbest thing you could possibly have said in the scenario.
Their PR. I assume they don't have a PR department. They need. They fucking need one. Like they need to get someone to have a word about how you actually like conduct yourself in public. Because I mean, the going out thing, like you say, is total nonsense. Like completely insane behavior, but. Having a beer or two while you're on holiday is like it's not a big thing, is it? But now you've got like they're sat outside having beers outside, and everyone's going, "Oh, you can't be seen in public with all of this and all the chat around it. It's like, just have a little think about the optics of things that you do, shall we say?
I can't
the
believe
optics of a man being blasted outside of Taco Bell at 3 a.m. But
it's not great, yeah. But at the same time, they are not. This also, it's a big distraction. England are getting hammered in the Ashes, both figuratively,
yeah, in more ways than one.
But they are losing because they are worse at cricket, and England have backed the wrong players, unfortunately. So it is a big distraction from this, and I'm not sure if it does benefit Rob Key, Brendan McCullum, or Ben Stokes. So I think in terms of security, in terms of those three jobs, if we were to do like the sack race, Max. Ben Stokes probably the safest in that space. McCullum looks that's a precarious position. Rob Key's coming out and having to apologise wearing a hoodie and be just like he wasn't there. In the chat, Sachin saying it wasn't Duckett's fault. The standards haven't been set. I don't think
starts at the top. It's Rob Key's fault.
I don't think you need to be putting. You shouldn't have to say to Ben Duckett, "Don't go out and have 15 pints." Like you should. That shouldn't. It shouldn't have to be a rule.
He's a 31-year-old man.
You open the batting for England. Like there is a little bit there of like whatever. I didn't mind like the guys going out and having some beers and having a nice time because I kind of thought that there's 6 days away from the Test match. Go and do what you need to for a couple of days. Fine. But yeah, Ben Duckett has not helped his England teammates here.
He hasn't helped himself. Like,
he hasn't helped anyone. He hasn't helped Darren Lehmann, who came out and said that he was hanging out with the boys and they were all very well behaved and it wasn't a stag do. And I think this is all very unfair. 5 minutes later, the Ben Duckett video drops. You're like, maybe he should have been with them there.
It is like a courtroom drama, isn't it? Like literally, they've got Darren Lehmann on the witness stand. They've gone, right, so what's your testimony? He's testified that this is great. And then literally the lawyer immediately has gone, here's Exhibit A, or perhaps things aren't all as seems. So, very funny.
Yeah, I mean, there is an element, right, of like obviously it's insane, but there is kind of, it feels like you have this image of England and being out and whatever, and what happens in the Test match, and people basically translate that into, well, Ben Duckett was hungover when he was facing Mitchell Starc, and England lost because they were all drunk on the pitch, and it's just like, it's a bit dumb, isn't it?
Ben Duckett might have batted better drunk than he's batted sober, like this test series so far.
Maybe that's, it shouldn't be ruled out. I don't think it has helped them. Like I will say, from a performance perspective, it can't be a good thing.
It can't possibly have helped. Alcohol helps you with pool, snooker, and darts at a limit of maybe 2 pints.
Up to 4 pints.
12. Yeah.
Beyond that, like
Beyond that, you can't hold the cue.
It's a nuts thing to be doing. Like I'll reiterate. I think it's if you want to do that when you are actually on holiday, fine, do it. But you are in the middle of a Test series. It's a nuts thing to do.
Yeah. Anyway, England go to Melbourne for the 4th Ashes Test on Boxing Day, and so no doubt we'll be tuning in. There surely has to be some changes to that 11, Max. They surely can't double down on the same 11. What do you reckon the changes will be?
I think I said before. I reckon Ollie Pope probably is gonna get canned for now at least. I think that could be maybe Jacob Bethel dancing the YMCA is his way back into the Test side at number 3. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happening. Jack's got his hand up, so
they did. I've talked about the 12K run. They had another run. The team fitness man did organise another run.
Did they do a
3
beer mile?
players turned up for it. Bethel was one.
Ooh.
Bethel was one of the players.
Right. Was Ollie Pope one?
Smith and Bashir.
Bashir. Right. So there you go. Jamie Smith keeps his place. Jacob Bethel comes in for Ollie Pope, and Shai Bashir also into the side to replace Will Jacks.
No, 2 spinners. 2 spinners. We're going to drop a pace bowler. 2 spinners.
2. So that's
Will Jacks. No, they just can't. They can't drop Will Jacks. He's the only guy who hits any fucking runs.
He didn't turn up for the run though, did he? Simple.
That is true.
Yeah. What do you reckon? I mean,
I'm
the
too
big
tired.
news is on the Australia side, isn't it? With the changes, obviously, Nathan Lyon's torn hamstring might even be Test career over for him, and Cummins being rested. So does that?
They've already beaten
Can
us
England
without
win?
those two.
Can England win a game of cricket?
Well, they've already beaten us without those two anyway. Looks like Michael Neser will probably end up with another Test match under his belt because you'd pick him over Doggett, and they'll probably find a random
Joe
spinner to
Richardson's
come in,
into
the
like Todd Murphy with the glasses. So
Yeah. Todd Murphy will play. That'll be fine. It helps England a little bit, but the series is over.
yeah, they literally could play anyone now, and it's just like who cares? So.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you
Joe
think? What do
in
you
the chat
think,
has
Ross?
apparently been mooted.
Yeah,
I mean, I
Richardson
personally
got
would
picked
like
up
to
into
see.
the squad, so
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see them do that and not pick him.
I-
Add to his 5 in the Ashes.
I would like them to see. Like, I would like them to publish the pints bit because no doubt they would have done something stupid around documenting how many pints each of them had in Noosa, and I would like to see that leadership board. Whoever's in the top,
side based on that.
whoever's in the top 11,
You're in.
and they're going, you're in. So if Rob Key's going to double down on saying, do you know what, I'll investigate this, etc., it's going to be a staunch defence from the rest of the England team.
I hope he gets CCTV and counts it himself from all of the bars.
Maybe he has to go on. He has to go on to Channel 7 and he has to narrate kind of what's going on. He talks through everybody. Go right, and what you can see here is this
a true crime documentary.
Oh dear.
Can Rob find the key to solving this mystery? Tune in next week.
Well, yes. I think we're about done here, aren't we? Unless you have anything more to get off your chest about England's behaviour. So we will
actually.
Yeah,
maybe
make sure you just keep it to single figures, Ross. There's big couple of days coming up. Don't ruin Christmas. But yes, thank you once again for all of those of you joined on the live, and those of you who are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. As always, do please leave us a review, like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a review on Spotify, and we will be back in a few days' time for day one of another inevitably disappointing England show at Melbourne on Boxing Day. So, bye for now. Speak to you all soon.